fire.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. Ready?
Ready. Out of our podcast, what's going on? I am Chase Way. I am here with.
D. Smith. I'm your girl, your entrepreneur, um, business owner, financial consultant, you name it. Hey, anything and all finance.
What's going on? How you been?
Been better than amazing. How about you?
I've been pretty cool. I've been uh I've been I ain't gonna say self, but I've been aware of the responsibilities of being a partner in a relationship and being more thoughtful.
Mm, great. That's good.
It's like all the things that you practice for or like want it to happen, and you have the opportunity to step up and be thoughtful and like think of ways to be present in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I've been on,
That's good.
and that's what I am currently like. That's what's going through my mind.
Good. I like that. You want to talk about it? What made
Yeah.
you be like this? What happened? And
Um,
to make you be aware, like, oh, I should is more considerate of other people, women feelings, because you know we're very
Yeah,
emotional.
it's more so consideration.
Yeah.
It was, I guess, like I'm aware of like, let's just say if me and Alona didn't have a conversation pertaining to her cycle had started. So when she was explaining like this don't seem planned out, everything is happening like faster than normal, but it was all based off of be planned on saving up for a whole year. And then she got the news of having to be moved out in August. And then she kind of forgot that she even said that we could move out as soon as possible due to it wouldn't make sense for all those many months to be open and allow her mother-in-law to take on that task of paying that rent monthly. It was like a moment of pure just being like just blindsided of her own thoughts of what she wanted. So when it hit her, it was just like,
Overwhelming.
yeah, it's kind of overwhelming to her. So it was just like reconsidering, making sure that she felt secure. So when we had that conversation, it was like, okay, what do I need to do? I need to make sure that this next month or the time frame that we do have is an easygoing transition instead of adding more or reoccurring that overwhelming feeling. So it's been more so just thinking about that and what ways can I show up. So, and I say that because I know prior to this week, last week, it was just free flowing, ready to make money with sports betting. But now it's like, now I have to be more intentional. Cause now like, it's always been make money on the line, but now it's like, now the possibility to make the most amount of money in a month of freedom instead of make the most amount of money of freedom with knowing that we have more time on our hands. So it's just kind of like, okay, I got a few months on my hand, but now I have a month on my hand.
Mm-hmm.
So
In reality, it's more of okay, real life. And I think this would be a lesson for both of y'all that this is how life hits to where sometimes things happen
mm-hmm.
and it happened at a short period of time when you
Mhm.
got a short period of time to make things work out.
Mm-hmm.
And just me, old school, new school, tip is like it's gonna happen throughout your life, right? And I guess now it makes sense for what I'm talking about when you live through something and go through something and you're trying to teach your kids the value of preparation or savings. And they're not understanding where you're coming from until the situation happens. And so we didn't have this back and forth, that's what I like about our podcast, because we talk the truth. We didn't have it back and forth. When you were out on the road, we had an episode when I was talking about I still want you to save. Even though, well, Mom, I'm not going to say because I still got to, I invest in this and I invest. You remember that conversation? And I was like, and I was just saying that. But just can you do it for me? That was a part of me of saying indirectly, you're going to need this later on. But and not saying you'll see what I'm talking about later on. But when things happen, it's the best time to bring it up. So only because of the fact, number one, when I was bringing it up to you, you didn't have to worry about nobody else but you. Two, it didn't matter to you. You know what I'm saying? If you ate peanut butters and crackers or noodles or whatever. True. But now you got somebody that her standards is where she want to be, right, in life. She wants to be in this certain category, and the things that she loves is a little bit more expensive than just being like, okay, well, I could just eat some noodles too with my man. She ain't that.
Sure. I'm just not gonna eat no noodles.
Well, I'm just saying, back in the day when you was on the road, you would, if it came down to it where you had to be like, oh, today I don't feel like doing nothing, so I just eat me a pack of noodles. Yeah. The other person is like, I don't want no noodles. So it's a matter of compromising and
it's kind of like that now.
Yeah. And so
no, I'm talking like recently for the past year, like that was after many conversations of like she's more so on the saving tip, so she had been doing the noodles things, but this is prior to like a year ago when we was getting money for the cruise and stuff.
Right. But the point of I'm trying to make is
I apologize. I didn't mean to stop you.
No, I was just saying that from you as a man and as a woman, we look for the man to be the provider, and all that stuff. And sometimes we be like, hey, how we gonna do this? And you just have to, reassure and find that secureness and being your self-awareness about, okay, I need to step doing what I need to do to make sure she's comfortable enough to know that I got this, for her. And that's a stress for a man. And I'm self-aware of it because, of my husband. Yeah. So I can now really see, we as women can talk about the stress that we have and the things that we go through on a daily basis at work and how people, treat us as a black woman. But a man has so much on their shoulders as well. Yeah. So, and it's not talked about. So, me as a woman is just, and just like Alana, she does with you, teaching you the little bits of how savings is important. Because we already have stress, so if there's a way we can prevent it, we do it. And that's why we go to the doctor and stuff. It's more than men do. You know what I'm saying? Because to us, in our mind, the way our mind work is, if I know about it, I can do something ahead of time versus quick time. That short period of time. That short period of time, that's a stress with all the rest of the stress that we have.
I guess we just like the thrill as well.
Y'all like the thrill and we don't. The only thrill that I always liked is writing papers, and I spoke about this before. You know, those two, I can write a paper that put out my best work. But when it comes down to managing finances and stuff and running the house, it's like running a business. We always got to keep up and do. If not, it stacks up on us. Just like I told you about this washing. Usually we have 2 loads of clothes to wash. maybe 3. No, I'll say 3. We got our whites, our darks, and the towels. This week, because we didn't wash last week, now I got 3 loads of color, 1 load of white, and then towels. That's 5 loads. So imagine if I keep not washing, how many loads am I gonna pile up on myself?
Yeah, that's
Not
true.
to mention all the other stuff that I have to do. You know, so that's why women work the way we work, because we are programmed and taught to keep up with household stuff and having many tasks, and we make the task look so easy to our kids, but at the end of the day it's still stressful. So to put finance on top of all of that stress, some people gonna collapse and just, you know, fall apart. Some people gonna handle it, but like, hey, I'm gonna jump in this, and they gonna ride that thrill too, you know, because you got some of them that's me, you know, I'm gonna ride that thrill, but only because of the type of background or raising I was done. If she was in a raising where everything was easy to her, you know, and she's the baby and things was, your life was kosher. But mine was like, I had to work for it. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have the opportunity to be that kid. So, you know, at 15, I had to grow up. You know, I made the decision to do what I needed to do. Either not have it or work and have something.
Yeah.
And then, or I wasn't a kid where, hey, you ain't doing nothing, you got to work, you know. So start to instill that work and go to school and stuff, and, you know, build it in it. Like, hey, you get you a job and then try to teach you that little bit from that job, because that's all parents do when they say it's 16, you get your license, you need to be driving, and then having a little bit of responsibility. That way it's teaching you the little managing money. Versus me, just like, hey, I got to get out here and do it, because guess what? We weren't having lunch money. So we at school, and at 15, you know, 16, who wants to eat the token lunch? That's everybody know what that means. That means that you kind of poor. You know, your mom or your father or whoever you were staying with, y'all got the free lunch. My mom make too much money, so, you know, depending on what day it is, people is ready for them tokens. And then, but like, man, you got a token? Yeah, but I'm getting mine. You know, it's pizza, it's this, it's that. So it's funny. Kids make it fun. Poor kids. When we're poor, you make it fun when you make it fun. But that's like junior high school. But when you become in high school, it's a little different. Because now you looked at, okay, we almost grown. Y'all still poor? You know what I'm saying? It's not our fault, but we didn't see it like that. It was you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, you decide, and everybody ride the wave of getting a job and stuff. And so you get your job, or you talking to your friends, because you, at the end of the day, ain't nobody smarter than nobody. They just listening to what they peers say, right? Man, shoot, I got me a job. I'm making such a, what? You doing this? Or you got the dope dealers, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, we selling dope in our hood, and then you gravitate to that. Or, you know, hey, shoot, my mama work at Sam's and I can get all this money and I'm selling candy. You know, you had different categories and the way you were just brought up, so it makes you that same type of person, driven person, non-driven person as an adult. And so that's a good thing to be self-aware of other people's feelings when it comes down to that, because everybody's childhood was different. Yeah. And for me, I can see it all angles because of the fact I was around all different people. And that's one thing that I like, that I hope you got out of it, being surrounded by different type of people. You know, men and stuff, you know, having all that so you can have an open opinion about, hey, and not one-sided about situations. But yeah, and mine's always been saving, and I think saving for me is been because of the fact of not having. And then I could never what I was saving for, I could never spend it on what I was saving for because I had to pay bills. And so I didn't want that to be a factor, for you, where you have to worry about that. So, again, we talked about it again. Yeah, I just think, looking into those different avenues, like we mentioned a couple of weeks ago, the railroad and stuff, getting you something like a career-wise. You know what I'm saying? To where you could be able to provide whatever you need to provide for your future family. And it won't be a burden on her, and then it'll be once she feels that secure and y'all are in sync and y'all gonna levelize and just blow up, you know what I'm saying? And then it's gonna get to the point where now you can be able to still freely do what you've been wanting to do, and her still freely doing it, and y'all coming together, and it just boom blossom.
Yeah. Yes, I ain't gonna say I've been overly thinking, but it's just been more so just like being able just to be gentle with the thought process instead of just react too quick.
And the simple thing how to do it, just coming with your plan on how you gonna increase your revenue.
Yep.
That's it. Simple thing. When that starts, and then the rest will follow.
Yep.
Yep, that's it.
I often think about just like like on a day-to-day, like Friday. I was just thinking like, dang, it's crazy how it's Friday now. I think about this almost every day. It's funny how like days of the weeks will have your mind ready for the rest period, or know that we gotta stay locked in because the week not over with. And then what do you have to accomplish within this day? What tasks do you have to get done so it won't go over to the next day? And I felt my body like be relieved that it was Friday while I was driving, but it was just like, no, I'm gonna stay out a little bit longer because I still need to make my day last instead of being in a rush to get off. So it's just like, it's funny. I was just laughing because although I was picking up Delson and I told him I'm gonna be back around 4, and the decision of like, no, I need to hurry up and get off so it can be about 3 o'clock. And I was like, no, why would I do that? They're gonna take 30 minutes out anyway. Let me enjoy my 30-minute break. So it was just like, all right, I'm gonna just stop, get me some Wendy's, and enjoy my break time and relax. And I was just laughing, just thinking in my head in Wendy's while I'm eating. It's like, dang, it's funny how, our body and our mindset know that you need a break time, but do you really need a break time? But it's like, okay, let me just take advantage of what all I got going on now, and let me listen to my inner thoughts of like, take your break time, relax, and then you can push forward.
No, and I'm thinking about the concept of how it was a point where you didn't even think about days of the week.
Nope.
Or the hours, or none of that was important to you because you was on a different level, and to me, what because you know what I'm talking about, do you think that level of thinking is better then, or this level of thinking is better now, or is it because of the circumstance?
I think it's because of the circumstance, because I know when I first got in trucking, I had 21 days, and I used to count my days. So for me to enjoy driving on the road for 21 days straight, I had to forget the days of the week. So I remember that the days of the week, that didn't matter. All I knew was if I schedule the the months that the days that I'm home, the weeks that I'm home, and calculate that. That's all I needed to know. So I know for these 12 weeks, I'm gonna be home this time. Yeah. So that's all I need to focus on. So that way I can let them know when I'm coming home and what time I need to come back. And that was my mindset.
Yeah.
But then when it turned to a 5 and 2 schedule, it was just like I needed to know the days of the week because it's 5 and 2. Then now that I'm home daily, it's more so like, oh, I do need to keep up with the days of the week because I only work Monday through Friday and off Saturday, Sunday. So it's more so felt like a school schedule than anything. So now when I'm on the road now, it's more so of like, oh, what day is it? And then when I go live on YouTube, it's more so explaining like, this what today is, such and such, and this what all the games is. So it's like I'm more in tune. Prior to then, I wasn't sports betting when I wasn't having to keep up with the days of the week or anything like that. It was just more so of like what is coming out on YouTube today, so I can make my day go however it needs to go.
Right. So it's important.
So it's definitely circumstances.
Yeah, it's your circumstance, and it's the power of how your brain works. That's why people have not been able to figure out how the brain, that organ, is the most difficult organ to understand, because you can manipulate your brain to think however you want it to think. And this is the power of the brain. You can pull out from the right side or the left side, you know, and use it more than other. And again, you can forget about things, and that's why people say that the healing process is time, but you can manipulate yourself to be accustomed of living without somebody that's not here, that you were used to. You know what I'm saying? Like Granny not being here, and it's been 2 years, and she's been in my life for 40-something years. And then as the time go by, you'll eventually get used to it, that she's not here, because you can be manipulated your mind to, you know, do the holidays without her and do something different, and you know, and still that, and bring your legacy, but still remember her. You know. So yeah, the brain is powerful, definitely.
Oh, that's 22 minutes. I thought they said 28.
Yeah, it's definitely powerful. Okay. So, but I know we just jumped into it, y'all. But it was something else you had mentioned that you wanted to. 3 things that you want to, you know, stretch today.
I wanted to talk about some things that I wanted to hear about from your childhood and what you was like.
Like what? Like? Oh, you got your questions.
Yep.
All right, you got questions for me today?
I wanted to know. I always think about this when it comes around this time. Can you explain some of the stories of what it was like when you was riding a bike in the neighborhood?
Sure. Oh God, yes. So, every year we got a bike for Christmas. You know, again, we were on Second, staying with Granny during those times that I can remember. And so me, Sean, and Mel, my uncle, my brother, we had our bike. So we didn't have, it's funny that we didn't have a y'all can't go, you know, past this or that during that time. And so we would ride everywhere. So just imagine from where I showed you where we stayed, Granny stayed. So you could go go to the right and go down towards Tootie Moo, where the bus station, across the bus station or Washington stuff. We will go that route. And when we go that route towards that way, we'll go around towards Shorter Garden to the community center. So we ride bikes over that way and then Shorter Garden, because we used to stay in Shorter Garden at one point. But we rode there, And then if you go like past Stephanie them house and go over the Vada, you know, and going towards, we rode, we would just ride. So we would imagine that these bikes were our cars. And so that's how we knew certain things around North Little Rock, riding the bikes, because you had the little alleyways and stuff like that. Or we could, one particular day, we're like, okay, y'all, let's go to the left. We're going to go down towards Dodge, where they, you know, over there, Dixie Way, Silver City Court. We didn't come down this way in Rose City. We didn't come this far. But we did head towards Dixie Way, because at one point, when we got a little older in the summertime, we did church camps, and the bus would go pick up Dixie people, and we'll go to this church or whatever. So, and also, some days we'll just go across the street. So you had 2nd Street, Washington, and then Arkansas Avenue. Well, over there on Arkansas Avenue, and which it still is, Jeffrey Sand. We'll go over there to the sand and just ride our bikes up and down the sand, which that one, I didn't like to do too much because of the fact, of course, getting sand in your hair as a girl will take your hair out. So, I used to have to be in the house like 2 days before, you know, washing out and stuff. So, I very seldom like going there, but I went anyway. It was fun, but it wasn't fun for me because I was tender-headed and all my hair, and I didn't like getting my hair done. So, but the joy of riding a bike was phenomenal, and I think the most important thing was the teaching, because you know, as a kid, you teach each other. And I had just thought about this too. It's so funny. Me and Miss Lily was walking yesterday on our lunch break, and we were talking about how some families, you know, have that they like to have their kids 18 months apart. Well, I always knew how many months I was older of Tony. I said all the time, we 4 months apart, right? 4 months apart. I never did the math between me and Sean. And me and Sean are only 14 months apart. 14 months. And I was like, dang. So, that being said, and him teaching me, he wasn't that much older than I was, you know, but he was my big brother, right? So, teaching me how to ride a bike, tying my shoes, because it was just like, to me, when he was in his grade, and I guess that's why people in grade school be like, I was so much older because I'm in this grade and you was only in this grade. But then when you get up to realize that their birthday was just late, you know what I'm saying? And they just had to wait a whole nother year to go to school. And those things right there was just fun, you know, popping a wheelie and riding on one wheel. That took a lot of strength, you know, the upper strength. Not knowing now, if I'm like trying to do a push-up or whatever, your mind frame as a kid, again, this is the power of the brain. You never think about that you can't do it, because as a kid, it's like, there's nothing you can do. He can do it, I can do it too. So that's how I was. And yeah, then I was doing push-ups and everything then, you know what I'm saying? But when I got more, using more of my femininity, then all of that kind of back, and I think all of that came in when I became a mom. So, for me, and that was just a decision making for me. You know, I didn't want to be that tough mom like my mom and Sean was with each other. I didn't want our relationship to be like that. So I scaled back a little on that right there. But yeah, it was just the childhood stage of those happy times. It was like, well, you had no worries about bills, nothing else, and you just being a kid and just going out there.
No, do you remember like your first car?
I don't. The bike wise, no. The scars on that, I don't.
You never. Had a
Yeah, I
bike
don't.
accident?
No, I'm not like that. Yeah, I was good at riding bikes and stuff. I didn't skin up my knees and stuff. The scar that I did have, it happened like at a birthday party that I have on my leg, and I just stepped into a little hole. But
Y'all
scars
didn't have
like that.
scooters around y'all time, did y'all?
When the scooters came out when we were teenagers. It wasn't the little, yeah. We had those little, yeah. We didn't have those. We had skateboards. Skateboards was our
You
thing.
ever tried a skateboard?
Yeah, I was skateboarding. Whatever the boys did, I did. Yeah, when Sean had a skateboard, I would get on his skateboard. Again, we didn't have scooters until we were like, cause I was liking the little boy in Dixie, Antoine. He had a scooter, and he used to come see me on the scooter, and Mel used to steal it. And I think we were about 12, 13, 14, somewhere up in there. You know what I'm saying? Well, Mel was a little younger because he was just big. I was big. You know what I'm saying? And Mel being 3 years under me. So, yeah, he was about 11. Mel, but he was always, Mel was like he is now. He smarter than what, his age-wise, because he was around us. Me and Sean. So we taught him so much, and his thing, because when he was growing, he was eye to eye with us, but he was younger, right? So Mel was just a big boy. And we had this tight thing going on. And again, when we weren't riding bikes, we was in the house, like when it rained and stuff like that, we would do singing contests, gospel songs, or playing little games and stuff. So we always was doing things. It was fun though. Well, yeah.
Explain what a Saturday would look like fresh out of high school.
Sleep. For me, I always stayed up late. So when I got out of high school, number one, we could joke with Mel about still being in school, but I worked. So depending, and then at that point when I got out of high school, I was on the 6 to 2 shift, 6 in the morning to 2 o'clock. I worked my way up to that. So started out 5 to 9, only working probably 1 or 2 days out the week. Maybe a Saturday. But after high school, I worked because I knew I wasn't going to school right in August, because I wanted to work to have money. If I would have went to school, I wouldn't have. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't want to, again, that had something to do with the environment and not having. I didn't want to have to go up there with no money. No money saved or whatever, because all the money that I did save, went on senior stuff. I paid for my senior stuff. So I didn't, that's just how it was, right? Yeah. And so, if I didn't have to work, I slept. For me, rest was something that was just there. And that's why, that thing that me and Sean have, not having kids till we 30, because we wanted like the best for our kids, blah, blah, blah. All of that stuff. So it was a thing to me, and I was aware of it. It was just the timing. Again, one of them things, Mama lost a job, going to the health department was to get birth control and stuff, but I ran out, right? Ran out. Still trying to do so much to get ready for school. And wasn't even thinking, you know what I'm saying, about all that. Knowing that we had a health department right across from Reed Hall or whatever. Yeah. So, did I know how to prevent? Yes, of course I did. I mean, I had boyfriends, you know what I'm saying. But during that time when I Yeah, I was talking to somebody before your daddy, and he went to the military. And I came home for the summer. He went to the military, and I worked at Wendy's.
Mhm.
So me, Eric and I will write each other, you know. But I was more focused on, of course, making money.
Mhm.
My first semester there, I didn't do, and because I didn't know much about financial aid, I filled out my financial aid papers on my own, and one understanding, and you know, at this point, this was a work study, you know, and I didn't know anything about all this. So I think that's why I love work study at Pulaski Tech, because I was able to give back to someone that didn't know, like me, the first generation. You know, none of their family member went, so that was important to me, and that's probably why I'm still there today, because so many people look like me, you know, there, and I make sure I tell them everything, you know, because I know how it feels not to know who you are as a person and where you're going in the future, and then to just tell the story of, you know, this is how I did my son, you know, because it's more better. And then they look at it, and it was like, they were like, how far did you go in school, you know? So it's so funny that our culture don't know stuff. And I was like, what you mean? She was like, I was like, degree wise, you know, I was like, I got my master. Oh my God, you know, they're shocked, they're surprised. And I was like, it sounds scary, but it's really not, especially if you got the support. So all of that was boom, 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 a thing. But yeah, my Saturday mornings was work. I worked only because I had a goal. And that's why it still works today.
Yeah.
Writing down what I want, just climbing up in the ladder. Each step had a specific reason of why I reached the next step. And so that's how I see this business in the truck company. It has a specific reason, and so you know, last year we got 2 little small contracts. You know, my goal now is to at least get a bigger, you know, one. And so the 4 months we hadn't been working, you know, Lord, it's been a struggle. But I've been putting, all of those are my
different bids.
Different bids. And I had someone reach out.
You don't know what's crazy about that?
What?
When you realize, like, this is part of the tedious work of you got to pay for ink for it.
Yeah. Well, that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But, someone reached out. As a matter of fact, the company, Redstone, reached out, and, they are on like 6 of the bids or whatever. And they asked me to fill out this, paper. So when I came home, what day was that? Wednesday or Thursday? 3 was here, and I was like, dang, 3, I got to sit up here and get this hooked up on the internet, the new internet. And I was looking at my phone, and it was like 5:30. And the man had said, hey, can you send this form out? Well, it was the estimator. I sent all of those out, and he was the one that bid, and Redstone gets a lot of those. And so I was like, oh, yes, I already got to say, you know, from the bids I had, because the one lady told me, can you do this? Because, yeah, I forgot, RDOT, you have to submit another form. And so I sent it to them. So hopefully, fingers crossed, that they, you know, will have something. And those bids are need to be done by November of this year. So I'm hoping that these be the bids that will carry us through the winter.
So you'll be working like an ant.
Yeah.
Preparing for the winter.
Yeah.
In the winter, you prepare for something.
Absolutely. And it's kind of
I
like
really
how
like
I
that
did.
book. I really like that book.
You did?
Yeah.
And it's kind of like how I do shopping.
Yep.
Remember how I used to do shopping?
That's how I tell people how to shop to this day.
Yeah.
Like when they be like, okay, when you was into clothes and shoes, like, how did you get all this? I was like, if you go in the store right now, bypass all the new stuff, go to the clearance.
Yeah.
Go to the clearance, whatever store you're going to, ask for the clearance or look for that. Buy 1 or 2 items out of all the stores you're gonna go to, and then you find out you got 10 items with less money that you intended on spending.
If you get a say your or even and give yourself a budget. Okay, I want to shop $50. And you go to the different stores, go straight to clearance, Mr. Clarence, and Joe call him Clarence. And they said, let's see what's on Mr. Clarence rack. I said, yeah, let's go see what Clarence got. But you shop off season.
Nope.
And if that's what you want, if you like Dillard's, go to Dillard's and go to that clearance. Make sure you hitting them with the 30 plus 65% off the 30%. And you got this, and then boom.
You know what's one place I still haven't been? Down at the Palm Bluff at the Dillard's outlet.
You know they say they're finna close that down.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Matter of fact, Joe told me this 2 or 3 weeks ago, if it ain't already closed. But it must have been last week when he was at that job, and he said that Miss Shirley said she got her husband about 10 shirts out the rack. They, got them for $2 or something. I said, yeah, but it ain't your style, because he's so particular about polo. It might be like those the other brand, like Izzers and stuff like that. He told me more for me work clothes. I said, yeah, it might be for you and your work clothes on the trucks or whatever, but. Yeah, they said they was going out of business. So yeah, but that's a good store. I went in there.
I believe we have one in North Little Rock across from that academy school.
What academy? It ain't Lisa Academy.
No, it's either Christian Academy or some academy. It got the little football field. When you're going down Markham. Towards when you cross the baseball, you go over and you make that right.
Oh, okay.
That way.
I haven't been there.
Make that left.
Well, towards that way. We hadn't rolled down there towards that way. You know me, the only time I'm gonna go that way if we ride, me and Joe. But specifically, going there, I can't remember those stores. Okay. The Riverdale movie theater place. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
We got that Dillard's right there.
Oh, yeah. That's Cantrell. You going down Cantrell Road? Okay.
I just know, like, if you, before they built that, you have to get on Markham, take 1st or 2nd Street right there to go down, then get on Cantrell.
Oh, yeah. All right, next question. I know that was long-winded, but I
know what your old favorite snacks used to be, but what are some of your old favorite snacks and meals coming up, excluding cheese dip and cheese in the candy crackers? What else used to be your favorite?
Well, you know what? Cheese dip was not my favorite until later on, like high school.
All
right. Yes, I was talking about the cheese and crackers.
Doritos and jalapeno cheese.
Yes. Going up my snacks, because I was so picky. But of course, Doritos always been in Sprite. I like those penny candy. It was some penny candy that was like kind of like a strawberry gel filled. They had some of those hard, and then the little gel, but they also had like Laffy Taffy types. We had Laffy Taffies, but then but these were like the little bitty square penny candies, and they were soft. And it's we also had like the tattoo gum. So you had the gum, and then it always had a tattoo, and all you had to do is lick your hand and place a tattoo on there. Man, that was the boom, right? We had the I don't know why these were so popular, but they had the candy cigarettes. It was like white chocolate with some red, little candies.
It seemed like we only got those when it came time for like Birthday party.
Yeah. What else? I wasn't big on the ding dongs because I didn't like chocolate like that. I wasn't a big chocolate eater. I didn't like Snickers or nothing. I didn't like the nuts. I didn't like eat peanuts. I didn't like the peanut butter. I mean, M&Ms with the peanuts. I liked the plain. Maybe, you know, that was about chocolate. I only ate in chocolate chip cookies. I like the Rice Krispie treats. Probably the same stuff that I like now, I like then.
You're missing one more thing.
What else? Funyuns. Me and Sean was big at Funyuns, but I also like the hot fries too. I like the hot fries.
I'm shocked that you haven't said this.
What?
That's how I know you just haven't bought none in a long time.
What is it?
Twinkies.
Oh yeah. He has some Twinkies.
Do they taste the same?
You know what? Well, I'm trying not to be like this, but in this hood store, you know, we get the leftovers. You know what I'm saying? You got to look at the expiration dates when you go up here. That box he has kind of was stale to me. So, but I did eat it only because it was sweet, and I think I'm learning as my menopause, when it goes shot up, my sweets. So that's why I need to do this detox for this month. Because it takes no time for it to go. And I was, ice cream. Ice cream is like the biggest thing in the most fastest way I can put on weight. And so I don't have any more. I think I used all mine, or well, I'm good at saying I'm not gonna do this, but ice cream and chocolate chip cookies, and then I have my caramel. Yeah, so I ate that for like last week or the week before when we had the ice. Yeah, that was my go-to thing right there. You know, eating, and that's my dessert. So, I could be okay eating it at a point and having my ice cream that I have with the low carbs. It's still there. I just so happened to still have that ice cream, and I was like, I'm a person that don't want to waste food and don't want to waste my money, right? So I'm gonna eat it, or I can give it away, but I decide to eat. So yeah. But chocolate chip cookies, I have not found, and I'm not found like low carbs chocolate chip cookies that taste good. I found some that I made and they just weren't right. So I'm still on the search for that. But I did, of course, find my gummy bears.
No.
So Walmart has some gummy bears that Atkins, which is one of those lose weight type of program. Atkins have some good tasting gummy bears where they don't taste, you know, bad or whatever. I still have those little Starbursts that I have at my job. I bring those or whatever. And then of course, even though I like hot skins because there's no carbs, they're just high in sodium. So you just got to watch, you know, the sodium level on there. Probably eat a few, but who eats a few chips and then that's it? You know, I have to eat the whole bag. I mean, come on. That's true. But I did again, like I say, the other day I went to Tropical Smoothie. I hadn't been in a while because they didn't have nothing for lunch and I didn't bring nothing that other day. But yesterday, I brought a leftover pork chop because I knew I wasn't going to spend any money. So I had my pork chop, and that was the last one because I had the pork chops and macaroni and cheese and crescent rolls, and then he had some beans. So that was like my typical, you know, meal. And I had some green beans in there. I just didn't feel like warming them up, so I didn't have a green veggie. But, yeah, just getting on the scale, you know. I said I won't go get back in my 140s, and I meant that. So this little lingering 140 for weight, yeah, got to go. So this March is where I'm gonna go on and do what I need to do and just stick on it. So hopefully my plan really is just losing, 14 pounds. These 14 pounds, because my ideal weight is 130.
Mm-hmm.
And then in this process though of losing, I might not be as quick and not really not gonna be too mad at it, because I'm gonna be trying to do weights as well. Because I know muscle is like added weight, but I'll be able to see the tone that's in the inches and stuff.
You remember having the ab thing, the blue ab
Yes.
thing?
You remember me doing it? I was faithful with it, and it worked. But I think also this my hip hop abs worked as well. I remember seeing that picture that when my 34th birthday, and I only needed to lose 10 pounds because I was like, you know what? I was 130 then, I think, and I felt like I was too much weight, and because I was getting, I don't know, I just felt like, I've always felt like big or whatever and watch my weight, but I got down to like, I was probably 135 maybe, but I was 125. I remember being like 120 or 125, and I had you take that picture of me in front of the fireplace and stuff, and I was tiny because that little dress was a small. That little outfit I bought, it was a small. So I was exactly where I wanted to be because I couldn't start. I started going from a small to a medium. And I was like, medium? You know what I'm saying? Now you get into large. So yeah, so my ideal thing, would I want to stay 120, go to 125? Probably not, depending on how I look at this 130. But when I got married, I was 130.
Gotcha.
But I was 130, but I wasn't where I wanted my stomach to be, I guess.
Gotcha.
And my stomach wasn't as big as it is, now. But it's all how you make your clothes look.
Yeah.
But yeah. Twinkies was one of my things, but I don't buy them as much. Again, I guess because of the bread and the carb, and I used to be such a bread person. Now I'm not as much as a bread person. And I used to, I know that was one of my things. I can't have a meal without bread. You need meat, bread, and potatoes, And that's that soul food that's in me. But you can have it without. Unless you, make your own bread, low carb stuff. Who has time for that? I don't. But I've been binge watching cook shows. And like how you make food out of leftovers. And stuff like that. And this one lady was on there, and she was like 50 years old. And she was I forgot what career she was in, but she quit her job to start baking again. And I was like, I really enjoyed cooking with my granny and stuff. And I was like, I wonder why I never thought about that as a career. But it's my environment, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I wasn't around any chefs or anything like that. I didn't know that was a thing until I started working at Pulaski Tech. And Pulaski Tech just opened up a variety of ways of what you can do as a career. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, it's so much. Why did our counselors not talk to us about this? So that's one of the things that I feel like the education
is lacking
in our community and kids in general. You don't open up enough. We don't have enough field trips to where we are exposed to more than sports as a career.
That's true.
More as being an actor or actress in a career. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like it should have been open. And I think if our young men would have been, and don't get me wrong, because I had in school as one of my electives though. But I don't remember her talking about in home ec.
Probably did, but it just since it was in a lesson, it was just went over.
It was
your head.
and it might be in that time when it was like, man, I'm going to home ec, and this finna be the book work versus hands on cooking. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah, I remember taking home ec. You having to do book work first to get to the cooking side.
the cooking and the sewing, making them pillows and
But
stuff.
you had to do the
You have to do that, and I think it's a way that you can instill and catch kids' attention to make it interesting. And it comes from a special type of teacher to do that.
Yeah.
And so it might have been there, but yeah, we don't think about that because we always consume of our world, whatever that is. You know, as a kid, as an adult, everybody got their own little thing that's gonna make them happy. Versus if you're gonna make me do something, then I'm not gonna get nothing. You ain't gonna get nothing out of me. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. But yeah, childhood was good though. I had a good one.
That's all I got for us today.
Yeah. Well, thank you. It was great going down memory lane, and my husband turned 50 on Monday. So
We will have more next month, and we'll see y'all next month.
yes, enjoy your day. Peace.
Peace.